Challenged our players to start really fast. I thought it was important to come out and set a tone when you play in these kind of games. And you want to start fast, you want to go quick, you want to execute, not be sloppy. And I did think we did that. I thought we came out and either had 2 3-and-outs or maybe 3. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 3-and-outs in a row. And offense came out and got the ball rolling and scored, did good things. And then we had the turnover, and then they scored on us. And we got a little sloppy at the end of the half, but thought offense executed well. Overpowered a team that was smaller than us, and then defensively they did a good job, especially with some of our young secondary players throwing the ball on them late, and give that kid a lot of credit. He's a really good player, and we knew he was. So at the end of the day, it's on to the next one, and I'm proud of the way the guys competed.
Questions? Just want to get your thoughts on Justin and Jake and their performances today.
Yeah, I thought both of them played well. I mean, I think that when you have a run game that's as physical as ours and you're able to kind of run the ball at will and run the ball inside, that it opens up the passing game and makes it easier. And thought both guys made good decisions with the ball. And I mean, I think Jake was 5 for 5 or something, and Justin probably didn't make a great decision on throwing the bubble out there. But other than that, he threw the ball really well. I mean, one of his drops should have been a touchdown.
What does it teach these guys going up against a force like Isabella?
Well, I think the young players that really struggled against him, it teaches them that there's good players out there. You know, I mean, Debate has gone against some really good wideouts this year, so it's not like it's something new for him. But I think when you look out there and say, okay, this guy's a formidable player. He's a Senior Bowl invitee. He's a second, third round pick. It steps up your level of competition, but it also stepped his up. I mean, he went out and played at a high level in a big stadium, which is probably what he wanted to do coming in here. And they do a good job now finding ways to get him the ball. I mean, he's really more like a running back than he is like a receiver. And they get him the ball a lot of touches, and we knew that. I mean, he got, 15 or something receptions. They find ways to get him easy catches, but he was able to get behind us too.
Kirby, I saw Monty come through the dog walk, but he was on with a boot on the sideline. Did he get hurt before the game?
Yeah, he got hurt during warm-ups. Not sure to what extent, how bad it is. He was just planting and driving. He planted and drove, and he said his foot was bothering him. And so we had to go do x-rays, and I'm not sure the complete verdict, but he was ruled out for the game.
Coach, can you talk about, you always talk about everybody this deep into the year is banged up. When you have a game like this where a lot of people, you know, had limited, weren't needed a whole bunch, how beneficial is that when you talk about a stretch run like this?
I mean, we need everybody all the time. I don't want anybody to be hurt, and we want to stay as healthy as we can. But I mean, teams across the country are beat up. That's why you have 85 scholarships. You got to prepare guys, get guys ready to play, and I think that we're not as healthy as we have been in the past, but things could be worse. I'm pleased with how we came out of the game, if that's what you're asking.
How about the way Tyler Simmons played?
Yeah, I thought Tyler, for the last couple of weeks, we thought he was one of the fastest guys on GPS. He was popping big numbers. He looked really fresh. I mean, and it showed today. He was able to do some things with the ball in his hands. And, you know, none of those plays work without perimeter blocking. And I think a lot of people just think that, oh, man, that guy's just an unbelievable player, James Cook and Tyler, but they don't see Luke Ford and Charlie Warner, Isaac Knott out there blocking, and Jason Stanley. And that's sometimes the harder job than the actual running with the ball.
Kirby, you've praised Justin and his work ethic and how hard he's worked. Is it kind of rewarding to see him go out there and put together a game like he put together today? Yeah,
I mean, I see that game every day. I mean, I see him go out there and do good things with the ball. He makes good decisions. He's getting better with his vision downfield and making decisions with the ball quicker. So he continues to grow and get better. But that's not a surprise to me because I see him do that a lot in practice.
Kirby, obviously the offense you're going to face next week is a lot different than what you're going to see, what you saw here. But how does this help you at all prepare for what you're going to face next week?
Zero. Zero. No offense we faced all year. Zero. It has zero carryover. I think you see across the country, if you watch teams play the triple option, it's extremely different and so extreme that I don't think you guys even understand. I mean, there's not one call in our defense that we play. The only common theme is you have to tackle the man with the ball. That's the only common thing. But outside that, it's nothing like it. So you don't cry over it. You say it's a challenge, and when you get issued a challenge, that you're getting ready to play a team that's, I don't know how many games they've won in a row, 4 or 5. I don't know. They've won a lot of games in a row. They're playing really well at a high level and playing better on defense, and they're really coming together at the right time. I mean, they're beating some good teams, and it's hard to prepare for it. It's hard to stop, and it'll be a challenge for us because we were very fortunate to inherit defensive players that had played against it when we got here. So there were, I think, 8 or 9 guys who had played against that offense for 3 straight years out there last year. And familiarity with that offense is critical, and we got a lot of guys that haven't played against it.
How do you stay prepared? I mean, if your preparations for different teams are different, do you practice like Georgia Tech every week or a segment?
We can't practice every week. We got too much stuff to do. We try to work on it in the off week. We work on it the off season. We work on it during the season on some Mondays when we feel like we've got a simpler game plan for whoever we're playing. But it's hard to do every week. We do a lot of weeks to keep it fresh in our kids' mind. And we got to remember they're like doctorate experts at it, and we're 1 week a year. So it's you got to be smart about what you do, and you got to sell your team on playing the right way against it.
Kirby, without Monty today, do you have a lot of confidence with Tay, Jawan, and Natrez at that position in case he's questionable next week or whatever?
Yeah, I've got confidence in all our players. I mean, why would I not have confidence in our players? They practice every day. I mean, I got confidence in Quay and Channing Tindall. I mean, that's what coaches do. They show confidence in players and put them out there and give them an opportunity to play.
You put the size factor, obviously, a bigger, stronger team, but you had multiple first and goal situations this week, and it worked.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you take away from that?
Probably hard to take away because we're bigger and more physical, and I mean, we can all pat ourselves on the back and say we did better, and we'll tell them that and build some momentum. But we know until we play a more formidable opponent and somebody our same size that we'll see then. I mean, we've worked on it, so it was rewarding to do it. I was disappointed we got the offsides and had to back it up, but we were able to convert it, and hey, we continue to work on it. We're always a work in progress.
Coach, offensively on that sweep outside run, whether it be to a wide receiver or running back. I mean, I know you guys have used that in places throughout the year, but now I feel like the last few weeks you got used a little bit more. What do y'all see in that play about how it can be an asset offensively?
I think it's all about how the other team lines up. I mean, everybody loves it and says, why aren't you using the sweep? Why are you so dumb? Why do you run up the middle every time? Well, we try to do what works. I mean, we're not like trying to not do plays that work, and that play was working, so you do it. Now, the next team you play, they'll have an answer for it. They'll do something different, take something away, and you've got to be able to counter it and do other things. It was certainly good for us today on the perimeter, and it complements our inside run game well.
Tate kind of lit up out there recalling his interception, and when you think about a guy who grew up getting the ball all the time in high school, what do you think touching the ball for a defender like him, given his background tonight?
I think he's back at home. He didn't break too many tackles, so that's probably why he's on defense. I'll tell you this, though, he's got some elite ball skills. I mean, you talk about being able to catch the ball, and even when we were trying to move him to linebacker, he would double up and be a receiver and running back for the scout offense, even though he was working in linebacker. He had a ton of one-handed catches, and he got great ball skills.
Coach, it looked like there was obvious disappointment when Demetrius Robertson was unable to haul that ball. And I know you guys are trying really hard. He's been banged up. What can you say about trying to get him on track, get some confidence?
I thought he had a good week of practice. I mean, he had some high GPS numbers coming off the break he's had where he wasn't practicing. He was injured, and he was running really fast. So we thought that it'd be a good game for him to get involved and do some things. And he continues to work. He works really hard. I mean, he had the bomb, and then he had the speed sweep, and he was in on some other plays. So D-Rob's a hard worker, guys. He keeps working and getting better. He's in a talented room, and I'm glad D-Rob's on our team. He's a great kid that works hard every day. So expectations I think some of you guys have or fans have may be outrageous, but D-Rob's a great kid that works hard every day.
Why do you think y'all are playing better or winning by more than you did for a while? Do you think everything's adding up now that y'all were doing during the season?
I don't know. I mean,
or do you think
it had a lot to do with our opponent tonight, right? I mean,
No, I mean generally speaking, since Jacksonville kind of seems like y'all have played well. Why?
we got kids with more experience. I didn't think we played particularly well in Jacksonville, to be honest with you. I didn't think that was one of our better games, but we won the game. Thought we played better in Kentucky, and we played better at Auburn. I thought we played 2 good weeks, and then coming into this week, thought offense built some momentum. I mean, you can't say they didn't build momentum when they scored every time they had the ball, but defensively, we probably didn't play as well tonight as we played in previous weeks. So we got to continue to work and get better, and you hope that you're gelling at the right time, but what's up this week is completely foreign, at least from a defensive versus their offensive perspective. It's completely different.
What value do you put on that SEC Nation experience that you got this week? They were on campus, you were on television. I mean, how valuable is that in the big picture as far as recruiting and exposure for Georgia?
I don't know. I mean, I think kids tune into it, kids watch it, but to be honest with you, kids are on their phones more than they're on that. I mean, they want to look at Twitter and Instagram and social media. They're not, a lot of them aren't tuning into the TV as much, in my opinion, but the recruiting exposure we get is playing on TV and getting kids to our game and letting them see that our facilities over here, that's really important. I'm glad SEC Nation was here. I certainly think it's awesome, but it's tough also when it's Thanksgiving week and probably not as many students here as there normally are.
A guy that seemed to give you guys some depth at outside linebacker as of late is Adam Anderson. How have you seen him come on and just perform in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, Adam's grown. He's gotten better. He gained some confidence in Kentucky, and we put a package in where he was playing, and that package has gone from 2 calls to 3 calls to 4 calls to he's got all the calls, and he's growing up. He's maturing. He's figured out that if I learn what to do, I'm a pretty good player. And so we're putting him in more roles on our defense, and he's absorbing the material and doing well. So we're very pleased with his progress.
Trey Hill got the nod at right guard, and wanted to ask what you kind of thought of the way he handled that responsibility, and kind of an update on where you guys think Ben is right now.
Don't really know on Trey, 'cause I can't say how he played. You know, it's hard to watch one guy. Certainly, when you score all these possessions, he couldn't have played too bad. But I think he's a good football player that's very versatile and can play multiple positions. And the kid that's really gotten better in the last 3 or 4 weeks is Jamari. He's moved himself in a position where he's able to go play either guard spot. As far as Ben, you know, Ben had an ankle sprain that happened at the end of the Auburn game on the opposite leg than the injury. So he's playing both sides against the middle all week, and he's trying hard as he can to get back. And it's tough when you got an ankle and you're coming off that injury. It's not an injury you just wake up from. I mean, Charlie Warner had the same injury in the Rose Bowl, but he got to go through it in the offseason. So he never had to go out there and push through it. He just came back when he was more healthy. And Ben's cleared, but Ben's not his normal self. And I think if he had the ankle, it would be easier on him. The good thing is he plays on punt, and he doesn't have to come off and run real hard. So he's able to protect and do some things. But we're hopeful to get him back. As soon as he's ready and playing well, we'll be able to get him back in there.
What about Baker and Mays going forward, their availability?
I'm not sure. It'll be day-to-day this week.
Even though Georgia has a clear advantage in games like this, does the win help their confidence for bigger games?
I don't know that. I mean, I think our guys expect to win, and they expect to win whoever we play, and they want to go out and compete. And I think how we play gives us confidence. But I don't know if just winning. I mean, I think when you play well, you get more confidence. Like Tyler Simmons, he probably has more confidence now because he played well. Justin Fields, he played well. So those things are important, but not just the results.
Time for 1 or 2 more questions. Anybody?
Coach, what characteristics of this team, are you thankful that they have this time of year?
Well, buy-in would be the first characteristic, because a lot of teams don't, at this time of year, they're like, what bowl game are we going to? When does this end? Tired of it. Week, I don't know, this is 12 or something in a row. I mean, it's a grind, and we don't make it easy. We really challenge the kids. We have physical practices, so the buy-in is a characteristic that I would say I appreciate the most. The work ethic of the guys, and we're not easy on them. And to me, the fun's in winning. And you want to have fun? Win. How do you win? You work. So we really try to sell that, and our kids buy into it, and they listen to us.
We give the players a 24-hour rule. What about you? What do you, especially when you're playing Georgia Tech and what all they do, when do you
As soon as I can turn that tape on, I'll be turning it on because it's very different for us. So most of the time I try to have a 24-hour rule too. This one's different because you don't have enough time to prepare for them. I mean, you never have enough time. You always feel crammed preparing for this offense because you so rarely see it. Thanks, guys.